Welcome to the Explainer. So glad you're here. Look, if you're a grade 7 learner stepping into a Mandarin Chinese classroom for the very first time, you're probably feeling a crazy mix of excitement and, let's be real, maybe a little bit of intimidation. But I really want you to look at this curriculum not just as another class, but as an actual expedition. Today, we're going to unpack the exact roadmap you'll be following based on the official foundational sources for your course. We're breaking down how you'll go from learning your absolute first sounds to actually navigating real-world conversations. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our map for today. First, we'll hit sounds and tones. Second, everyday communication. Third, the HSK proficiency ladder. And finally, your language journey begins. Let's make our first stop, Section 1, Sounds and Tones. This is Unit 1, and literally the absolute foundation of Mandarin Chinese.
So how do pronunciation and tone change meaning in Mandarin Chinese? This right here is the core challenge. In English, if you raise your pitch at the end of a sentence, it means you're asking a question, right? But in Mandarin, changing the tone of your voice on a single syllable completely changes the actual meaning of the word itself. Let's do some worked practice and model this. Picture a flat visual line. If you say ma with a high flat tone, it means mother. But picture a line dipping down and back up. If you say ma with that dipping, falling, and rising tone, it means horse. Yeah, you absolutely do not want to mix those two up. So the takeaway here is that learning to hear and produce these tones isn't just about sounding cool, it's about accuracy. It's about making sure people understand exactly what you're trying to say and using evidence from your pronunciation to back up your intended meaning.
To tackle that challenge, one of the biggest things we do in this unit is compare the sounds of Mandarin directly against the familiar sounds of English. You aren't starting from scratch here. By looking at these two side by side, you'll learn exactly how to adjust. Now, time for a quick misconception check. A lot of people think Chinese is impossible to learn early on because of all the complex characters. But we actually use Pinyin, which uses the English alphabet, as a bridge. But be careful, because those familiar letters are going to play tricks on you. Take the letter C. In English, it sounds like cat. But in Pinyin spelling, it makes a ch sound, kind of like the end of the word cats. If you make a mistake, your teacher will justify corrections by pointing right back to this phonetic evidence. We're going to build a really solid bridge from the familiar straight to the unfamiliar. So what's the day-to-day actually going to look like in Unit 1? Well, you're going to focus heavily on recognizing those tones and spelling them out with Pinyin. And from there, you'll take those exact sounds to master basic classroom survival. You'll learn how to greet your teacher with a spot-on ni hao, understand exactly what's happening when you're giving classroom directions, and successfully introduce yourself in simple sentences. Nailing these specific elements right out of the gate sets the stage for your entire year. Once you have those foundational survival skills dialed in, we move to our second checkpoint, Section 2, Everyday Communication, which is Unit 2. This unit is framed around one massive, super practical question. How can a beginner learner handle everyday communication needs? And honestly, this is where the magic happens. We take those foundational sounds and that pinyin from Unit 1, and we start applying it to the real world. The curriculum is specifically designed to solve the problem of real-world daily interaction. It's definitely not about just memorizing vocabulary in a vacuum. It's about giving you the actual tools to function in a Mandarin-speaking environment.
And just look at the highly practical, everyday subjects you'll be covering to get there. You'll learn how to talk about your family and your school. You'll master numbers and dates so you can casually chat about schedules and ages. You'll cover daily routines, common interpersonal exchanges, and my personal favorite, food. Because honestly, who doesn't want to know how to order noodles? Think about it. These are the exact things you talk about every single day in English. Unit 2 basically just hands you the vocabulary to start having those exact same conversations, but in Chinese.
Here is the exact 4-step procedure you'll follow for Unit 2. First, you'll practice asking and answering simple questions. Second, you'll start using your new basic vocabulary in context. Third, you'll interpret short dialogues. Let's actually analyze a quick one right now. Say, person A says, "你好吗," which means, "How are you?" Person B replies, 我很好, which means, "I am very good." You're going to learn how to listen to that exchange, break down the pinyin, and totally understand the context. And fourth, you'll put it all together to create a short presentational script of your very own. It's a super clear, step-by-step pathway from learning a new word to actually communicating a full idea. Moving on to Section 3, the HSK proficiency ladder. Let's zoom out from the classroom for just a minute and take a look at the massive mountain we are actually climbing here.
Your curriculum is directly aligned with the HSK, or Hanyue Shuiping Kalshi. This is a national standardized test assessing Chinese communication skills in life, study, and work. I really want to emphasize why this matters to you. The HSK is the ultimate official standard for Chinese as a second language globally. So by aligning your grade 7 classes with this framework, you aren't just filling out middle school worksheets, no way. You are officially stepping onto a globally recognized pathway of language proficiency.
The official HSK 3.0 proficiency standards outline exactly what you need to be able to do at each level. For level 1, the official mandate is, and I'll read the pinyin here, Neng Yong Zhongwen Jiu Xingwo Changjin Jinsing Jiandan Jiao Yo. That translates directly to simple communication in daily life scenarios. Now, think back to what we just talked about in Unit 2. Family, food, numbers, routines. See the connection? Your Unit 2 directly and intentionally builds toward this exact benchmark. Every single vocabulary word you practice is a literal stepping stone toward this internationally recognized level of fluency.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive scale of fluency that the HSK actually covers. You start down at HSK level 1 with basic life exchanges, but it scales all the way up to level 5, which demands really accurate communication for work and academic settings. And if you go all the way up to level 9, that is the absolute peak of the new standard. Up there, you're looking at precise, deep professional exchange across all sorts of specialized scenarios. It's a huge mountain for sure, but the beauty of this curriculum is that it breaks that mountain down into completely manageable steps, starting with the very basics of tone and sound.
Which brings us to our final section, your language journey begins. Let's bring the focus directly back to you, the learner, and your immediate next steps. This is your pathway. You're going from pinyin to precise exchange, mastering those basic pinyin spellings and distinguishing between mother and horse in Unit 1. It's not just busy work. It is the first, absolutely crucial step toward that level 9 mastery. Every single time you correctly identify a tone, or successfully introduce yourself, or interpret a quick dialogue about daily routines, you are actively moving up that proficiency ladder. It's like a giant puzzle coming together piece by piece. It's a completely new way of thinking about speaking, and it's going to open up a whole new world of communication for you. So as you head into Unit 1, I want to leave you with this one exit question. Are you ready to start changing meaning with just the tone of your voice?